Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton, and I just got back from seeing Spider-Man Homecoming. And out of all the Spider-Man movies that have been released, I can safely say I think this one is the most fun. It has that classic Marvel Cinematic Universe action and humor that you'd expect, along with a Spider-Man that you really grow to love. But is it the best Spider-Man movie of the bunch? That's debatable. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story follows Spider-Man, who this time played by Tom Holland, who, after his awesome cameo in Civil War, feels like he isn't getting enough to do with the Avengers, including Iron Man. But when he figures out that there are several criminals running around with alien technology, he has to balance fighting those criminals and helping out his city with dealing with his normal life with high school, which includes tests, an academic decathlon, and even a homecoming dance. So this film is very different from the other Marvel movies, considering it tries to be both a high school movie and a superhero movie, and as such, I actually think it works very, very well. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the characters are very likable, especially Holland as Peter Parker. He really just feels like an average New York Queens kid who tries his best, sometimes screws up, but ultimately does what he can for the people that he loves. Even though he screws up constantly, you still root for him and you still really admire him. His friends are also pretty fun, even if some of them are a little underdeveloped. Ned Leeds is very hilarious. There's a girl named Michelle who gets a laugh out of me every single time she speaks. And even this movie's version of Flash Thompson wasn't really that annoying, which is weird because I absolutely hated Flash Thompson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Now, as far as Robert Downey Jr.'s role in this movie, he actually appears in it quite a bit, and I think a lot of his scenes do work for the sake of the story, and I think they build on the relationship that was built between Iron Man and Spider-Man in Civil War, if you have seen Civil War. We also see a lot of Happy Hogan, played once again by Jon Favreau. He's very, very funny as well. And surprisingly, I thought the villain, the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, while not being the most memorable villain of the bunch, which is not exactly saying a lot, there aren't a lot of memorable villains in the Spider-Man universe, I do think he's a villain that I will remember purely because Michael Keaton delivers a great performance, and I think he's a character with an interesting motivation. So the film's style, humor, and action definitely work in its favor, but even though this film is, it clearly has a very high budget and it has a lot of awesome action scenes, it feels like a smaller story than the other big Marvel movies like The Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy, and that works in its favor. It remembers to keep it focused on just Spider-Man and just how he deals with both superheroics and high school, and it keeps it relatable for the audience while still being exciting and thrilling. Now, the action is very high octane, and it's done with a lot of great special effects, but I don't know if they're the best Spider-Man action scenes that we've ever seen before. They're serviceable for what they are, but for Marvel, action is sort of their forte, so I just felt the action was good but not great. But hey, this is coming from a guy who has seen every single Marvel film and knows that these guys can be absolutely incredible when it comes to their action for all their heroes. So take that what you will. Also, when you get to the end of the film, stay for the credits, because like all Marvel films, there's a after-credits scene, and there's a cool mid-credits scene. And I won't spoil who's in that mid-credits scene, but let's just say he knows the definition of insanity. My only problems with this film are just a couple of things. Some of the characters feel a little underdeveloped, like some of Peter's friends, while they are entertaining, you won't really find them that memorable, including Peter's love interest, Liz, played by Zendaya. She's tries her best with her role, but she's just sort of another one of those she'll probably just be one of those often forgotten Marvel characters that you won't really think of that much when you think of this movie. Also, like I said, the action's good but not great, and sometimes the comedy can be a little hit and miss. Sometimes it can be laugh out loud hilarious, other times not so much, but for the most part it hits where it needs to. And besides, my criticisms are really just minor ones that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I guess out of all the Spider-Man movies, this would be the second best out of all of them. I still think Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi is just a little bit better, but as a Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man film, it does everything that it needs to be both a standalone Spider-Man movie and another chapter in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I definitely think you should still check it out. I give Spider-Man Homecoming a 8 out of 10. I'll see you next time.